Good day, everyone. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about marketing automation for associations. First, a little bit about Real Magnet. We're based in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. And the company started as an ESP, and we have evolved into a full marketing automation platform. We've been in business now for about 16 years, and we're really born in the association space. We have 600 or plus customers who are associations, and that represents probably about 52% of our customer base. So when talking about marketing automation, the term itself can leave a lot to imagination. And I think that's one of the reasons that adoption has been so low, is because everybody has a different definition of marketing automation. So maybe we should start out with a definition. And it does, like I said, it means different thing to different people. But one thing that is a fundamental thing about marketing automation is it automates repetitive tasks. So when you think of things like sending birthday messages or membership renewals, these are things that can be easily automated. And I know many of you who are working in the marketing departments, there's so many things that you all are doing that are manual that can be sort of automated with marketing automation. The other thing that marketing automation does, and it's been a hot topic today, is it allows you to send more targeted messaging. If you think about it, you're sending out those messages, people are opening, they're clicking on specific links, those links are going to specific pages on specific topics. You're also able to track people that go to your web page. So these are expressions of interest that can all be harnessed in the marketing automation platform. So that's sort of the goals and the benefits of marketing automation. When you think about the actual functionality of marketing automation, sort of table stakes include a social integration, lead scoring, email, analytics, landing pages, and a rules engine. So this is any sort of marketing automation platform that's competitive, contains at least these types of functionality, and there's every platform has its own sort of different flavors as well, but these are sort of the core offerings of a marketing automation platform. So really, marketing automation is an evolution from email, and it is continuing to evolve. So if you think about it, the very early days of sending out emails as mass communication, it was batch and blast. I'll never forget, one of our first customers was a huge publishing company, and they wanted to send out something like 700,000 emails to AOL. So we sent that message out, and they start going through. 2 days later, I walk back in the office. I'm like, hey, how did we do on that AOL job? It's like, yeah, well, I think we have the last ones going out right now. So obviously, things have changed a lot. But those were the days of batch and blast, and that is really doesn't work at all. It's highly ineffective these days. So now we're getting to a point of segmentation and dynamic content. And this is where the targeting and the specialization, the customization comes in. So one of the main benefits of the marketing automation platform is the ability to do that type of segmentation. Dynamic content has been around for a while. You put those things together, and you have highly customized email messages. And the next thing that's coming, and we'll talk about it in just a little while briefly, is predictive. So that is the full evolution. This is about where we're here. This is coming, and this is coming actually pretty quickly. So when you think about marketing automation and email campaigns in general, most of you all would think about campaigns that send things. Things like a new member renewal series, webinar promotions, event promotions, promotions for your annual conference, newsletter, re-engagement campaigns. So these are all campaigns that send things. But there is another class of campaign that's related to marketing automation that just listens. So these are those types of campaigns: engagement campaigns, segmentation campaigns, one of the things we talked about, lead scoring, suppression, and particularly those top three. Those are campaigns that you can launch right away. They just sit in the background, and they just listen and learn. And all of that data is being gathered to help make the association between the individual members and the preferences and things that they're interested in. So one of the hallmarks of marketing automation, and as the co-founder of a company that's a marketing automation platform, there's still a long runway to go. The adoption of marketing automation, by and large, has been very, very low. The Fortune 500 have adopted it early on. A lot of technology companies have pretty high adoption, but many of these other industries are still sort of behind. And I would say that, associations probably would be somewhere, in this area. So the adoption still has a long way to go, and this is about where the market is now. So associations would probably be a little bit further. There's still a long runway for associations to adopt. There has not been high adoption. The general market itself, and this is just my subjective analysis, is right where that star is, right here. So still a long way to go before we're at the top of that bell and moving down. And I couldn't find any specific information out there on adoption in the association. So one of the things that we did was we just did analysis of our own customer base. And of the 600 plus associations that are customers of Real Magnet, we found the adoption rate was about 11.6%. So still very low. And as you would imagine, a lot of those customers that are now using marketing automation are the larger customers. So I think 2016 and 2017 is going to be a real tipping point for marketing automation in the association space. One of the biggest challenges to adoption has been the complexity of some of these first-generation systems that have been out there. And that is changing dramatically because there are a lot of companies like Real Magnet and others that have observed very astutely that adoption has been sort of stymied by the complexity of the systems. We've gone out of our way to make it really easy. It's sort of what Kevin was talking about earlier. Interfaces have to be easier, have to be easy to use and easy to navigate. It's a requirement. If you're going to stay in business, that's the way it has to be. And that is actually happening. So we anticipate that there will be higher adoption because of the new platforms that are coming out and the ease of use that those platforms offer. There's also a growing necessity, and everybody in here knows that there is so much noise out there, there's so much inbox clutter, that the only way you're really going to get your message through is by sending these highly relevant, customized messaging. So that need is there. The technology is now accessible to many who was not accessible before. So we do think that the upcoming year and a half, there's going to be a very high adoption rate in the association space. So the case study that I wanted to share with you today is with based on the experience of the American Society of Health System Pharmacists, ASHP. They are a Real Magnet customer. They've been with us for a long time, about 4 or 5 years. They also have a Personify integration. And, having an integration between your marketing automation platform and your AMS system or your CRM system is all but mission critical. I'd like to say that we make marketing automation easier, but what you're trying to do is still pretty complex. And by having these integrations, whether it's Abila, Personify, IMIS, Salesforce, any one of those it's just critical to have that integration because you get control of the data going back and forth between the CRM and the AMS system and that marketing automation platform. And it's very simple. I think many of you who work with email systems or marketing automation systems probably already have an integration, but just for the benefit of those who may not, it really works sort of 2 ways. It's connected, and then the users will do their targeted queries in the AMS system, and then they'll seamlessly bring those lists over into the marketing automation platform. So that's one direction that the data is going. The other way it's going is that once those emails go out, people are opening, people are clicking, they're visiting web pages. All of that data about their engagement and interest is taken from the marketing automation platform and brought back into the AMS system where it can be used for further refining your targeting. So again, I don't think there's probably 2 or 3% of the customers of ours that are using marketing automation that don't have a CRM or an AMS integration. So it's mission critical. So back to ASHP, what they wanted to do was they had a directory, and you saw it here, of their drug Information 2016 directory. It's a compilation of monographs and updated guidelines for pharmacists. What they wanted to do was they decided that they were going to market this product, they were going to make a series of 4 messages that go out. So those messages go out, and many different things can happen. They can be deleted, they can be opened. But let's talk about the scenario that we are looking for, the success scenario where someone clicks on a link and goes to the landing page. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong slide here. There's the four emails. And now, so Jane Doe, she submits that message. She goes from that, clicks that link, and she goes to personify. So now she has reached the goal of the campaign. So once she reaches the goal of the campaign, you as a marketer and us as a marketing automation platform, we want to do the smart thing, which is stop sending her emails. So in order for us to stop sending her emails, we have to know that she reached that goal. So that data right now is in Personify. Now through the integration, what ASHAP said was that at 8 o'clock every morning, they want to do a sync between the Personify platform and the Real Magnet platform. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, Real Magnet goes, it knocks on the door. Hi, Personify, give me all the information on campaigns A, B, and C. Personify says, here you go, see you tomorrow. And we bring all that information back into the marketing automation platform. We now know that Jane Doe has successfully reached the goal. She's then taken out of the campaign. No more emails for her because she has reached the goal. Now, what about the people who make it to the Personify page but don't go ahead and make the transaction? So we call that, and I'm sure you all are familiar with this, with the idea of abandonment. And everybody has probably experienced you're shopping on Amazon.com, you buy a couple things, you get distracted, you don't complete that transaction. And so what happens next? You come back an hour later, 2 hours later, you have emails in your inbox saying 10% off if you finish the transaction. So this is a feature that ASHAP availed themselves to that exists in Real Magnet. When that abandonment takes place, it works like this. We know that someone clicked the link. We know that they did not submit the Personify page. And then we leave it up to the customer to say, what's the gap in time you want between those two things before we send them down an abandonment messaging path. ASHAP said that they wanted to wait 4 hours. So for those people who click links, go to that Personify page and don't complete it, they're going to get 4 hours. And if in 4 hours that they have not reached the goal of submitting that page, ASHAP decided they wanted to send a series of 4 different messages. So now this person, whoever does this, is off of this campaign, and they're now going down this route to get these abandonment messages. And what's here are messages that have incentives and greater urgency for why they should go ahead and complete that transaction. Now, one of two things can happen. We can recover them, or they're going to go through all 4 of those messages and the campaign's going to end. So I want to show you now the tracking of this because it really is very visual in terms of how effective this can be. This is the main page of the campaign. So this shows that there were about 1,700 people in the campaign, and of those 1,700 people, 223 reached the goal. Now it's saying of those 223 people who reached the goal, 215 went to that, clicked the link, went to the landing page, and submitted right away. They had no problem. But there were 15 that abandoned. Now, of those 15, we were able to recover 8. And we're not able to recover 7. Now, this was a publication that cost $325, and they took $2,600 off the table that they normally would not have gotten through this feature. So it really demonstrates, and abandonment is happening all the time. It's not just happening here. It happens in your webinars. It happens in your annual conference promotions. It's happening all the time. You just can't see it. But now we're able to surface that and help you recover those monies. And this just shows you that you're able to sort of click on either piece of that pie and get a list of who those people are who either completed the transaction or who we recovered, and those that we did not. And obviously, those that we did not, may be a more interesting segment for you to be looking at and having your salespeople call out or trying to engage in different ways, because they've raised their hand. They're absolutely interested in what you're selling. They got to that landing page. They just didn't complete the transaction. Another thing I just want to touch on very briefly is lead scoring. This is a key part of marketing automation. I've talked a little bit about segmentation and how important that is. Segmentation tells you what people are interested in, whereas the lead scoring tells you how interested those people are in those topics. So with lead scoring, you're able to create basically your own rules that score different engagement tasks. For example, you could say that if somebody opens an email, I want to give them 10 points. If somebody clicks on a link, I want to give them 25 points. If someone visits a web page, 50 points. And submits a survey, 50 points. All the different types of engagement. You can have different scores for different pages that people visit. And if you think about it, think about the value of someone visiting your sign up for membership page as opposed to someone who visits your career page. So you can assign different points for those pages based on the importance that you think that they have. The last topic that I really want to touch on was predictive. I think it's been brought up a little bit today. It really is the next technology wave that's coming down the pike, just as marketing automation was coming down the technology pike a couple years ago. Predictive analytics is the next thing that is coming down the pike. There's already a very small nascent industry of companies, many of them in Silicon Valley, that are working on this type of technology. And basically, there are two things that are sort of driving and fueling the growth of this small industry that's certain to get bigger, and that is big data and the advancements made in machine learning. And when I say machine learning, we've all talked about it here. It's the ability to, for technology to detect patterns and trends that the human eye couldn't normally see, and teach itself to view those trends. And so that's coming down the pike. And just to put a point on it that might sort of be helpful to you all is, what can this do for associations? And if the technology still has a way to go, but we think in a couple of years it's going to be able to answer questions like, well, you're holding your webinar on a Tuesday in August, so we think you should have a promotional series of 3 messages, and message 1 should go on this date, message 2 should go on this date, message 3 should go on this date. Because you really don't know. But through all of the data that's generated from your activity and through that machine learning, we're going to be able to come up not with definitive conclusions that that's absolutely going to be the best way to be it, but they're strong suggestions. Another example would be, okay, for this type of member, when we do a membership renewal campaign, it should be 90 days, 30 days, 10 days. And for that type of customer, for that type of member, it should be 30 days, 15 days, 5 days. Because that's how you're going to get your optimal outcome. So the key takeaways here. Number 1, 2016 and 2017 is going to be a tipping point. I think probably many people in this room are already using marketing automation, or at least looking to use marketing automation. I think the next year and a half for the association space is going to be a very large adoption of marketing automation. This has been mentioned numerous times today, and I just want to reiterate it. You don't have to do the full Monty. Take baby steps to get started, because it is a big undertaking. For example, launch those listening campaigns. There's no harm in that. All you're doing is gathering data and information on your members, and you're not sending anything out. You're just listening. So start small, and it's going to be totally worth it. You have to stay with the technology curve. This technology is sort of the strongest solution to help break through that clutter. So it takes time, it takes effort, but it is totally worth it.